Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Info Night for parents of rising ninth graders. My name is Bob Jazokis. I'm principal of the high school. The purpose of tonight is an overarching view of what the high school is all about. We're going to take you through some hot topics and the big ideas. But first, I want to introduce you to the people that will also be speaking. We have John Cannon, our AP and IB coordinator, Lisa Jacques, Dean of Student Services, Becca Noe, Assistant Principal, Kim Noyes, Special Ed Coordinator, Chris O'Hara, Dean of Humanities, Corey Parker, Athletic Administrator, Martha Pond, Dean of Business, Facts, Math, Science, and Technology, Casey Roop, Assistant Principal, and Amy Woods, Dean of Alternative Programs. So I do want to start with the big ideas. There's three guiding documents that I want to take you through. One is the BHS mission statement. One is the IB mission statement, and the other is the IB learner profile. These are the documents that guide who we are, so if you want to know about us, you start here. First one, the BHS mission statement. Bedford High School is a community with a passion for learning, dedicated to educational excellence for all students and staff. We are committed to high standards and exceeding our comfortable limits. We advance skills, knowledge, critical thinking, and problem solving through a culture of rigor, relevance, relationships, and results. We foster habits of open inquiry and an understanding of our diverse world through a challenging curriculum that creates connections integral to a nurturing and engaging learning environment. We believe in educating the whole person, so all members of Bedford High School embody respect, responsibility, integrity, and compassion with a unique vision and voice. And through good citizenship and service to others, we strive to make positive contributions to the world. That's the big one, the BHS mission. Right alongside of it, the International Baccalaureate mission statement. We are an IB World School, so this drives us also. It reads, the International Baccalaureate aims to develop inquiring, knowledgeable, and caring young people who help to create a better and more peaceful world through intercultural understanding and respect. To this end, the organization works with schools, governments, and international organizations to develop challenging programs of international education and rigorous assessment. These programs encourage students across the world to become active, compassionate, and lifelong learners who understand that other people with their differences can also be right. And then there's a third piece. This one's very concrete. These actually hang in classrooms, and it's the IB learner profile. There's 10 ideas. This is the core of what we want students to be, and they are inquirers, knowledgeable thinkers, communicators, principled, open-minded, caring, risk-takers, balanced, and reflective. And we actually give out our awards at the end of the year based on these criteria. So each department has one of those each year, and we look for students who shine in these areas. All right, I'm going to start with 4 mythbusters. As principal and as I've been talking to people throughout this year, I've realized there are things that are just, they're myths, and I have to correct them. So here's the first one. Both AP and IB are good for students because they serve different purposes. That's not the myth, that's the truth. AP courses are college-level courses taught at high school. IB courses are high school courses that prepare students for college. And the myth is that we need to choose between the two programs, but they're they serve different purposes. One is a college course here, and one is getting kids ready through high school courses for college. And I need both of them. And so I don't need to choose, I need them both here. They serve different purposes and good purposes. The next myth, because approximately 93% of our seniors apply to college and over 91% typically go, our primary goal is to prepare students for college. And as mentioned earlier, that's the purpose of the IB courses. We have 37 IB courses and currently 689 students are in at least one IB course. Our curriculum is vertically aligned, so ninth grade students, both PSP students and honor students, are gaining the skills and content knowledge to be prepared to move into IB courses as juniors. And here's the myth. The myth is that IB serves only the IB diploma students. There's lots of ways to access the IB program. It could be 1 course, 2 courses, 3 courses, or you could do the IB diploma program, which is every course you're taking almost as a junior and senior. But the IB diploma is not the IB program. As an IB World School, we serve all the students in the school, and we want them all to experience IB classes at some point while they're here. IB diploma is not the only piece of IB. Last one. IB classes are the 11th and 12th grade honors level classes by design. We did that on purpose. IB and AP courses are weighted the same as honors courses. So if you look at this chart, if you look at the 9th grade, there's foundations level classes, there's post-secondary prep, and we'll talk more about those. And then there's honors classes. And as you go to 11th and 12th grade, if you watch that honors row, you'll see that the word honors goes away and you'll see IB there. By design, IB is the honors level. They do the same type of thing. And then also, just so you know, AP can be accessed 10th, 11th, and 12th grades. So the myth is that there are no honors level classes for 11th and 12th grades, but there are. They're the IB classes by design. On the Common App for college applications, there's a box that asks this question: has the student taken the most rigorous course of study available? Our school counselors check that box when a student has taken any combination of honors, AP, and/or IB in the core curriculum. And the myth is, again, that IB diploma students are the only ones that get that box checked. That is not true. Any mix of AP, honors, and IB in those core areas gets that box checked for a student. You need to know that. All right, getting to the meat of the presentation. That's the end game right there. There's 24 credits that students need to get in order to graduate from Bedford High School. You start with the arts, portfolio of work, which you will learn about next year. You don't have to worry too much about that now. There's 4 English credits, 3 math, which includes Algebra 1, 3 science, 3 social studies, 2 wellness, half credit in personal finance, half credit senior project. You get a half credit for participating in advisory, and then you need to get 6.5 electives. With that are the real world learning activities. The categories are career, exploration, and planning. You need 16 hours of activities. Community involvement and service activities, again, 16 hours. That's over the course of the 4 years. Democracy and action activities, you need 8 hours. Cultural enrichment activities, you need 8 hours. And then school activities, you need 8 hours in one co-curricular or athletic activity each year. So you have to get those 8 hours each year. All the others that add up over 4 years. All right, I'm going to turn this over to Ms. Woods, who's going to take you through some specifics about real-world learning.
So real-world learning activities, and this is one of the acronyms we hear, RWL comes up frequently. And as you can see, it is important to recognize that these are required for the Bedford High School diploma, and students work on these over 4 years. Rising 9th graders can start on these activities this summer. So the moment 8th grade is over and you are into the summer, you can start accumulating hours towards your real-world learning requirements. We have a tracking system that we use. It's called X2Vol. You will learn more about this as a freshman in advisory, where Mr. Scheel and myself will come by and explain how to use the system to you. You can also access some directions on our website under the RWL tab. But again, you will be getting preparation as to how this works and how to log in and how to put your hours in as you are participating in freshman advisory. Your advisor is going to help you navigate getting these hours verified. There's a 3-step process. You do and log in the activity. You have conversations with your advisory, and your advisor helps you determine whether or not these hours are verifiable. Once you put them in the system as verified, then I can approve them, and that's how you'll get your credit. And finally, with school activity being the one category that we track every year, that means that that is the one that could potentially land you in summer school if you don't complete that. However, the vast majority of the students that we have are able to access athletic teams, and we have over 90 clubs and co-curricular activities that allow students to be able to connect with the student body as a whole, to become active members of the Bulldog community and achieve credit for these requirements. A quick rule to wonder if you have questions about, is this going to qualify as real-world learning? The 2 tests you should ask yourself is, am I getting paid? And am I getting a grade? If the answer to those is yes, then it is not real-world learning, but there are plenty of opportunities to get there.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rebecca Noe. I'm one of the assistant principals at the high school. So I'm going to talk to you about advisory tonight. So advisory, the purpose of advisory is to foster relationships that help the Bedford High School community strive toward the ideals of the school mission statement, with particular emphasis on educating the whole person, so all members of Bedford High School embody respect, responsibility, integrity, and compassion with a unique vision and voice. Through good citizenship and service to others, we strive to make positive contributions to the world. So advisory is basically a small group. It's randomly selected at ninth grade. It's anywhere from 13 to 17 students, and you stay with your advisor for all 4 years. So advisory is something you go to every single day. They meet for 20 minutes a day, 4 times a week. And on Wednesdays, which is kind of like a club day, they go check in with their advisor. So no matter what, their advisor is the one person they see every day that they are in school for their high school career. Real world learning hours was just talked about, but that is one of the places that they go and they talk about all the different things they're doing for real world learning. They have small group discussions, and actually in that discussion, they decide if it pertains to real world learning or not. So does it fit the description that they're actually trying to go for? And then portfolio of work is something that their advisor helps with. That'll be talked about a little bit more later on, but that's a state requirement that students put together, and there are certain pieces every single year that they will add to that. It's digital, and their advisor is the person that watches over that and makes sure that that's being completed. So the advisor, every faculty member has an advisory. So advisory is actually how our students graduate. So it's a little awkward sometimes their freshman year. They don't know everybody in there. Maybe they were in a different pod in 7th or 8th grade, but by the time they graduate, they become a family. So the advisor cares about the advisees, creates a low-stakes, friendly atmosphere, supports the whole student, includes all students. So they do like different activities. They might do different community service projects. It's the advisor's person they can go to with any questions they have about the school or concerns. A lot of times it's the first person that they go to. They mentor students, and they basically become a proxy family. It's kind of like an aunt or uncle your freshman year and like a big sister, big brother by the time they graduate on stage. So next we're gonna have Chris O'Hara come down and talk about competencies.
Hi, my name is Chris O'Hara. I'm the Dean of Humanities, and I'm going to talk to you about competencies and how grading looks at Bedford High School. So just as students were introduced to competency grading at Lergio, we have competency grading at BHS. So there are 5 overarching competencies, and within that umbrella, we have 4 that are graded and 1 that is reported out on. So each course will have skills and knowledge competencies, either problem solving or communication. Some classes have both, some classes have one or the other. And then all classes will report out on self-management and collaboration, and students will be assessed with self-management. So each class has 2 to 4 competencies. I would say most have 2 to 3 in humanities courses because it is an English and a social studies course. Students typically will have 3 to 4 competencies in those courses. So the way this looks is, think of competencies as the skills that we need students to have and understand before they are competent overall in a course and can achieve grade and credit. So a minimum passing grade at Bedford High School is a 70%. Students must achieve a 70% in each of the competencies in the course in order to gain credit for the course. So even if a student has a 75 overall average, if they aren't passing each of the competencies in the course with a 70%, they are considered not competent yet, and they must gain a 70% in that failing competency before earning credit. So you can see from the example here, in writing is a semesterized writing class that every freshman has to take. They will take it either first or second semester. If the process competency is a 75%, meaning students can show us that they understand the writing process. Conventions competency, which is grammar and mechanics, is a 65%, and the communication competency is understanding audience and purpose. If a student has a 70 there, the overall average, if we average those together, is a 70. But the student is still not passing in writing because they only have a 65 in conventions. That is what we call NCY, and a student will be considered not competent yet and have opportunities to work on that competency so that they can earn credit for the course. And Martha Pond is going to talk to you a little bit about what that translates to and how you can understand that in PowerSchool.
Good evening. My name is Martha Pond, and I'm the Dean of Math, Science, Technology, which includes business, facts, computer science, and engineering. So I'm here to talk to you a little bit about how this Y5 grade works. The Y5, think of it as the year-long grade, is what we report out on transcripts, and is what we want to keep an eye on as the year rolls along. in our grading system, although we take a snapshot every quarter, largely for NHIAA, and to just get a snapshot of how kids are doing, it's the Y5 that we focus on. And the Y5 is a weighted average of the year. So it's not an average of grades in the quarter. If you take a look, for example, at in writing, you might say, well, how is that even possible? If I got an 88 both quarters, how could I possibly get an 87? That just mathematically doesn't make sense. But if you think about what Chris just said about competencies, there's 3 competencies in writing, and the student may have a really high grade in one of the competencies in quarter 1, and then that competency drops down for quarter 2, and another competency has a high grade for quarter 2, both cases resulting in an 88 for the quarter when we take that snapshot. But overall, at the end of the course, the weighted average of those 3 competencies turns out to be an 87. So sometimes it looks a little bit confusing if you look at the quarter grades. The focus for us is on the Y5. That is what we look at. That's what we tell the kids to look at. And that's where you would see the NCY that Chris referred to showing up is it would be not competent yet in the Y5. That's where we look at reporting out competencies. So what happens if a student is not passing a competency or not doing well in a competency, struggling in any particular competency? So we have competency instruction built into our school year. So during the course of each quarter, teachers may take up to 1 full class block, where they work with students who are struggling on different competencies. We call that competency instruction. So they may dismiss part of the class and keep part of the class. They may work extra with kids as other kids are working independently. They may work with students that they have identified that are struggling. And we just are trying to get students to be competent. That is our goal, is for students to be able to be competent in all competencies for a given course. So when a student is not competent, we ask them to what we call earn the ticket. We ask that student to schedule extra help, to come in, to work individually with the teacher, to make sure that their homework is done, that they're working on those assignments. And when they are showing that effort to truly become competent themselves, then the teachers, that qualifies them, that the teachers may give them additional instruction in any particular competency with the opportunity for additional points to bring up that competency grade. So that's how competency instruction works for us here. And then in the event that a student is not competent in Y5, at the very end of the year, we offer summer school in most of our core course areas, both a shortened abbreviated NCY summer school for students who simply need work in one competency, and then for students who need credit recovery that have not passed the whole course with a 70, we offer summer school options there as well. And the next person to come on would be John Cannon, our AP and IB coordinator.
Hi, my name is John Cannon, and I'm the AP and IB coordinator. I'm going to talk a little bit about course levels at Bedford High School. There are 5 bullets on this list, but it's important to think of course levels as the right fit for your child. Every student has a right fit in a class, and that may depend on the subject. And so right at the top of the list here is foundations courses. These are courses that are by placement. So if a student really needs to sort of get themselves back up to ready in a course, that would be the place for them. We also have AB courses, and they're called AB courses because they meet every day instead of every other day like most Bedford High School classes. And the reason that they meet every day is so that students get more time with their teacher to really master the material before moving on to the next grade. Beyond that, most classes at Bedford High School have one of 2 levels, either PSP or post-secondary prep or honors. Post-secondary prep classes prepare kids for college. That's why they're called post-secondary prep. Honors classes are a bit more, in most cases, maybe the pace is a little bit higher or the expectations placed more on the student than on the teacher. So in most cases, honors classes might be a little bit faster paced. And then once we get beyond 9th grade into 10th grade, and especially into 11th and 12th grade, what ends up happening is we actually get rid of the word honors, and we replace that with IB. because in most of our core content area classes, our IB options are the honors level option of that class. And that's really important because one of the things that we believe here at Bedford High School is that every student in our school is an IB student. And so actually what's going on is in those AB courses, PSP courses, and honors courses, even at grade 9 and in some cases grade 10, we're scaffolding a lot of those skills to develop them so that kids are ready to take IB courses whenever they want to do so. And we do have a large number. I know Mr. Jizokis already talked about the large number of IB courses that we offer. And there really is an IB course here at Bedford High School for everyone. So when you hear those letters IB, just think that's the honors level option at that grade or in that course. With that said, we also offer AP courses. We have about a dozen or so AP courses here at Bedford High School. And most of those courses are in areas where a student might want to really engage in a deep dive in a subject area. And we have them all throughout the curriculum in all subject areas. And those, as well as the honors and IB courses, have the grade weighting that goes along with that. Next up is Lisa Jocks.
All right. Hi, I am Lisa Jocks. I am the Dean of Student Services here at Bedford High School. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about the services we offer in the school counseling office. Many of the services are going to be similar to what you've heard and received over the last sort of 8 years at Bedford School District. But at the high school level, we do have many more things that we offer. One of the things that you will find is that you will see the school counselors right away, your students will, in the classroom on the very beginning of their freshman year. Also around the end of quarter one, your student will have an opportunity to meet with their counselor one-on-one to begin that introduction process. Just because there are so many things going on at the high school level, and the school counselor is going to be helping them with their academic progress, their career planning, and a variety of other opportunities, we make sure that that freshman has an opportunity to meet their counselor right off so they know who to access and who to reach out to when they need support. Other things that you're going to see through the counseling office is individual counseling, group counseling. If your student has a 504 plan, you will be reaching out to their school counselor with questions in regard to that 504 plan. We offer any crisis intervention and referrals as needed, as well as an on-call counselor. What that means is that each day there is a counselor that's on call that can't have appointments scheduled, that they need to be available for any student that walks in who needs some support at that time. We also do a lot of academic, career, and college planning. So there's a lot going on through the counseling office. It's important for your student to get to know their counselor. And again, we do that right off the bat with their freshman meeting. These are your school counselors. At the high school level, school counselors are broken down by alphabet, so by last name. So your student's last name will dictate who their school counselor is, and they will stay with that counselor for the most part over the next 4 years. We do the best we can to make that consistency happen for students so they can have that relationship. So these are the alphabet breakdowns that you'll be seeing, and you'll be getting this information via your 8th grade teams as well, just so you'll have it formally. But these are your counselors, and they are broken down by alphabet. A little bit about scheduling. I'm sure you're all anxious. I know 8th graders and current students are really anxious to see what their next year's schedule is going to look like based on the requests that they made in January. So we are working on those, actively working on those and making them the best we can based on the requests. We will be releasing to students to view their schedules May 26th. This is the day after Memorial Day. So we'll be releasing and students can see those schedules. For 8th grade students, you can begin to request a change if there's a mistake or something has changed in these last few months where you need to make a change to that course request. Those requests can be made beginning June 1st. We will be sending out detailed instructions as to how these requests will be made. We are in a unique situation this year, so it'll be a unique process for that schedule change. And we will be sending out detailed directions so that you will know what you need to do if a change is needed. Those requests need to be put in between June 1st and the 11th. As of June 12th, the schedule change process will be closed. And at that point, if changes are needed to be made, they would be reflected on the student's permanent record as far as what the classes were and what the changes are. So please look at those emails, look at those requests and things that you need to do for those first few weeks of June and get those into us as soon as possible. Early August is when we start new registrations. So there may be some students here who attended private school for middle school, and those students will be able to come in beginning August 1st to schedule and make their course requests at that time. At the beginning of the year, we give students a little bit of time to sort of walk through their schedule, get a feel for it, see what it's like. And then on the 8th day, if they have too much free time, they can come in and they can add a class. They also have time to make a level change. So if they are really interested in taking honors, but at the beginning of the school year, they're feeling overwhelmed, they have 4 weeks at the beginning of the school year to come and see their counselor and make a request for a level change. And that works both ways. They can make a level change to go down to PSP college prep or move up to honors level if they're not being challenged enough in the PSP class. So there's 4 weeks for those level changes. And then after Thanksgiving, there's no more dropping classes. So these timelines and dates will be given out frequently in reminders. You'll see them in emails from your current principal as well as the high school principal as far as deadlines. Reminder, this Friday, it's the last day to drop a class. Reminder, you can't level change after Tuesday. All those things will be sent out and you'll be reminded of those. So you don't need to know all of these dates, but we just want to give you a heads up as to what's coming in the future. So again, the schedule change request process is going to be a little bit different. You will receive detailed instructions via email, and then if you can email the counselor what your request is to change, and what they will do is if it's a simple change and doesn't require much conversation, they will make that change for you and respond to your email, and that will be hopefully for many of you a simple way to do it. But some of the changes and requests may require more conversation, and in that case, the counselor will reach out to you with the scheduling calendar, and then you would be able to sign up for a block of time to virtually meet with the counselor. Your student can virtually meet with the counselor to discuss that schedule change and what it means. And the reason for that is sometimes making one request has a trickle-down effect or a domino effect. So we want to make sure in a case like that we have a conversation with the student and parent if changing a level of a course requires a loss of elective or other changes. So your counselor will reach out to you and let you know whether they want to talk to you about that change and give you an opportunity to sign up to talk to them through Google Meet. Okay. I'm going to welcome up Kim Noyes, who is our Special Education Director, and she is going to discuss special services.
Welcome. My name is Kim Noyes. I'm the Special Education Coordinator for Bedford High School. I oversee all the services and supports for all students who are in the high school who also have an individual ed plan. We have various levels of support here at the high school, and I'm going to go through each piece, each program that we have, and what that looks like for the students who may be in that program. So we have general grade level skills classes for each grade level. We have at least one case manager per grade level, and we have some case managers who split grade levels. Typically speaking, these are students who need support within the curriculum. These are students who are diploma bound, who are receiving credit for their coursework, and need some level of accommodation to access the curriculum. So each case manager has a caseload that they loop with. So we have case managers in the 9th and 10th grades, and we have case managers in the 11th and 12th grades. When everything goes correctly, our case managers loop with their students, and so they will follow them for 2 years. At times, there is a schedule change or a need to switch a case manager, and so that would be the only time at the grade level skills classes that your case manager may not follow you for 2 years. We have a program called Skills Social Pragmatics, or Skills SP. This is a program that is taught by a case manager and led by a case manager, but is also co-taught often with our speech language pathologist. This is students who, for students who have some sense of a language-based learning disability or challenges with language-based learning. There's a lot of social pragmatic work and executive functioning work that happens within our skills SP block. Our Bridges program is a program for students who have some need for social, emotional, or behavioral balance. This can be a chronic or acute challenge that kids are needing to work with, or it could be situational and temporary. Students who have IEPs with this type of focus, but also students who do not have an IEP but may need some extra support in those areas, whether it be long-term or temporary, may also be in this program. This program is taught by 2 case managers who specialize in emotional behavioral challenges, and also is we have a licensed mental health counselor who supports this program by both consult and direct service. The 3 specialists within the program do a wraparound approach for our students to help them access curriculum. With both of this program and the Skills SP, students, generally speaking, are diploma-bound students, are seeking credit for their coursework, so their support people within the program help provide those accommodations to meet their needs to access the curriculum. We have, I'll jump to our RISE classroom first. So we have a case manager who supports what we're calling our RISE caseload. These are students who are seeking a diploma for the most part, who are seeking credit for their coursework. Their path towards that diploma might look a little bit different. It might be a little bit more specialized and maybe pretty heavily accommodated to be able to access that curriculum. These are students who just need a little bit more individualized support. It is taught by our case manager, the special educator. Our speech language pathologist is heavily involved with the program, and we have many paraprofessionals who also support the program. Our life skills enrichment program is for students who are primarily working towards their certificate of achievement. And these students are students who are working towards various skills towards independence. So their programming is primarily and almost entirely driven by their IEP goals. They are absolutely a part of our general education classrooms, but their curriculum may be modified to support their own needs. This program also has a vocational component in that we have a transition coordinator who works directly with our area agencies to help support that transition into adulthood, and also has many partnerships with our local businesses within the greater Bedford area. We work in some sense of a transition process to support students to gain those vocational skills and find internships within their community to find some nice employment. We also have a NEC partnership program. This is a satellite program within our high school. It is not a BHS program. However, it is a program that is supported by and included in the Bedford High School community and coursework and programming. That is a specialized program and a specialized placement. Within our IEP meetings, what you might find a bit different from younger grades is that all of our students are invited. You will see our students are very much a part of their programming and very much a part of their meeting process. So at first, as a freshman, this may feel new for them and for you, where our hope is that if they are still with us on an IEP as a senior, they are essentially driving that IEP with their case manager on their own. And we are all participants in that meeting. So we work really hard towards that independence throughout the 4 years that we have our students. Once they leave us and go to college or go to the work world or whatever their next step is, our hope is that they can entirely and independently self-advocate for their needs. And a big part of learning that skill is through their IEP meeting process. Your direct contact will always be your case manager. If you're needing help navigating that conversation or learning what skills you'd like to advocate for your child, then you're absolutely welcome to email or call me, and we can help facilitate those conversations and those meetings. And next up is Corey Parker.
Good evening, families, and welcome to Bedford High School. As Ms. Noyes mentioned, I'm Mr. Parker, the athletic director here and Dean of Wellness. Much like the classroom curriculum, we offer a robust offerings of athletic opportunities while a student here at Bedford High School. As incoming freshmen, you are exempt from any academic requirements to be eligible as ninth graders. Having said that, as you begin your high school career, it is important to note that to remain eligible, you must be in at least 5 enrolled classes and pass at least 4 of them at each grading period. Although we strive for a Y5 academic progress, the quarter grades that Ms. Pond alluded to is what the NHIAA requires for athletic opportunity and eligibility. And so preceding quarters moving forward will be expected of you passing to remain eligible athletically. This is something we monitor pretty closely, and we'll start that once you become a fall athlete, if you aspire to be this fall, with biweekly grade checks, and we'll be communicating with moms and dads through that process as we dive into the sports season. It is important to note, as you grow in your athletic endeavors at our high school, the expectation and commitment level do grow as well. And so as you matriculate to a varsity level roster, the commitment and the time that you and your family needs to commit to being a member of our teams does grow. And so vacations during the winter is something that we typically are competing with our varsity level sports, as well as February vacation and April vacation as well. We do block out time during Intersession and black out our schedule so that kids can do the 5-day Intersession trips. But the ones that go into April vacation, the expectation is if you want to be a varsity athlete, that you are present for those. As your son or daughter grows in their career, we'll certainly be communicating and reminding them of that as we go. The most important thing and the best piece of advice I can give you, as Ms. Noe will with our co-curriculars, is to get involved. Ask questions. Try something as a freshman. It may not be for you a year later, but you won't know that until you try it as a student athlete at our building. Within the week or so, we will be sending out hyperlinks to sign up for fall sports. That is a great opportunity to start to be engaged with our fall coaches for some virtual learning and some workouts. But 2, it allows myself and Ms. Berry to start to gather all the paperwork necessary for August 17th, which is the fall sports tryout date. So please, as you see those links, fill out the Google form so that we get you on our radar for athletic opportunities and requirements with paperwork. Certainly, if you have any questions, please reach out to the office. My email is parkerc@sau25. And with that, please welcome Ms. Noe to come up and talk about co-curriculars.
All right, for co-curricular activities, we actually have 3 different levels. We have clubs, extensions, and organizations. What the title is doesn't really matter too much to kids, but for organizations, they do have to follow the co-curricular handbook. It's the athletic co-curricular handbook, because those are students that go outside and represent the school in competitions or different activities. And so students would want to look over that co-curricular handbook also. We actually have over 90 clubs in the school. There's something for everyone. There's everything from Save the Bees Club, there's Unleash the Student Newspaper, we have an anime club, we have a LARP, live action role play club. We have anything a student can think of. And so getting involved is one of the most important things a kiddo can do. Number 1, it covers those 8 activity hours every year that a student needs to get involved in for RWL. But 2, they meet people who have the same interests as they do. And sometimes as a freshman coming in, they're pretty nervous about that. But that's something that's easy to do when you have kids that are interested in the same thing. The process of creating a new club. Basically, get a couple friends, find a staff member who can advise the club, and then you come on down to my office. There's a form that you fill out, and I basically email that advisor, make sure that yes, they agree to be the advisor for your club, and you are a club. And from there on out, you can earn your RWL hours doing whatever the thing is that you like to do. So if there's nothing on that 90 plus list that you think interests you, then that is something that you can create too. Participations in athletic teams and co-curriculars, like I said, cover those school activities that are required. Intersession. So Intersession is a way for students to achieve educational excellence in an arena other than the standard classroom, typically through experiential learning. Students are given opportunities to exceed their comfortable limits. Activities can foster inquiry, demonstrate diversity, offer opportunities to make positive contributions to the world, and generally create a nurturing and engaging learning environment. Sign-ups take place in November through December, and Intersession takes place in April. Something to think about for Intersession is, one, it is required for all 4 years. It's not just an extra activity that we put together. It's an entire program for kiddos. Kids can do one alternate Intersession, though, in their 4 years, and that's something that they actually fill out a form, submit that to Mr. Jazokis, and he approves that, and they do a write-up at the end explaining what they learned from this alternate Intersession. So think of Intersession as school days where kids actually get to go to a different teacher and learn through something they love. They can pick a topic out of, there's many, many different things they can choose from. They basically pick something that they're extremely interested in, and it's not the normal kind of academic book learning and apply. They are creating, they are developing, they are learning through experience. And what we hear afterwards, teachers and students absolutely love the experiences they have. There's so many different things that kids can do. This is something that really makes BHS what it is. So next we're going to have Mr. Roop come up and explain some of the logistics about the high school.
Thank you, Mrs. Noy. Hello, my name is Mr. Roop. I'm the other assistant principal here at Bedford High School. First up, let's take a look at the schedule. As you can see, we have 4 77-minute blocks. It's a rotating red and silver day schedule. If the week starts on a red day, you will have Monday, Wednesday, Friday red days, Tuesday, Thursday silver days, and if we have another 5-day week the next week, it will start off with a silver. You will have 3 silver, 2 red. Classes are assigned a lunch during block 3. You can see that in block 3 that you have these little sub-periods where kids are assigned lunch. Now, sometimes we are asked if a student can be scheduled with a friend for lunch or something to that effect. The lunches are scheduled by class. So if a student has humanities during their lunch period, that's when they go. So unfortunately, that's something that we are not able to accommodate. 9th grade has advisory A. So as you can see, after block 1 and after block 2, we have advisory periods. Advisory B is when students will have an activity period. This looks a lot like a managed time. Many students will also get what we call managed time. There we go. There's managed time. What is managed time? Managed time is a block of time with no class. This is when students are expected to learn how to, as the title suggests, manage their time. They can work on their schoolwork. They can relax if they need to. If they need to catch up with one of their teachers, this would be a good time to do that. If they need to go to the academic center, this would be a good time to do that as well. Freshmen usually figure it out after a couple of weeks. There are places we like students to go, oftentimes to the Commons, the academic centers. We can go to the library, to the media center. They can go to Bulldog Corner, a few other different options. Some students don't have managed time. It's not always appropriate for every student. Students can also lose their managed time if they've demonstrated that it is not appropriate for them and they can't yet manage their time. They will at times have opportunities to earn it back. Managed time is not an early release or a late arrival. Those privileges are reserved for juniors and seniors, so during managed time, we do need students to stay in the building. Okay, next hot topic, cell phones. We do allow students to bring cell phones to school. However, we do want them to learn how to manage their cell phones a lot like they manage their time. They always have to be put away during assessments. They are not allowed to be out during assessments. We always have to keep in mind social media use and appropriate uses of social media. We work with students to try to encourage them to use it properly, but we also need parents' help and support in encouraging your kids to use social media properly. Bullying, if it's going to happen through social media, is most frequent during 9th and 10th grade years. A study at the University of Arkansas found that students who brought cell phones with them to classes and exams scored a full letter grade lower whether or not they checked their cell phones than those who left their phones back in their dorms. What's the implication here? Just the act of having your cell phone can be a distraction. So as part of being successful, we ask students to keep them away during class. Unless, of course, the teacher says that they can use it for a specific reason. Cell phones are a reality. They're going to stay with us. So now we just have to learn how to manage them. Next hot topic, becoming young adults. As one of these themes, we want students to learn to increase their communication with their teachers. This is part of the mission statement. This can be part of earning the ticket if a student is NCY. It's exceedingly important and is an adult skill to make sure that students start learning to communicate better. So we want them to engage with their teacher. We want them to start that communication. We want them to go for extra help. We want them to use their school email to reach out. And if they're in a meeting, we would like to hear their voice. We would like them to self-advocate. Their opinions and their perspectives are valuable and they mean something to us. We also have to allow for some failure and some disappointment. Some of the most important lessons that we can learn come from failure. So that doesn't necessarily mean failing a class, but it might mean a student might not do as well as they can, or maybe they just are weak in a certain area. This can be telling, and it can be a point of development. We want to teach them to be resilient, to work through these things, to grow through them. Some stress is healthy. Some stress causes us to grow. Sometimes these failures teach us that lesson. And it's also okay to be different. We all have different strengths and weaknesses. Not everyone is going to be good at everything. Absences from school. Pretend your kids are still in the second grade, and we need to know when they will not be at school. If you know that your son or daughter is not going to be at school, please let us know as soon as possible. The preferred method would be BHS attendance at sau25.net. However, if you need to give us a call, please do at 310-9007. There are 10 excused absences allowed before we have to require more documentation. Students, if they are not excused, if you don't call in, if there's just an unexcused absence, unfortunately, they will not be able to make up the work from that day. So we do need that communication. Next, Mr. Jazokis.
Thank you, Casey. I'm going to go back to one of the bullets that Casey had, which was it's students trying to figure out who they are, and it's okay to be different. So coming from middle school, where most kids are trying to be the same as everyone else, in high school, they're finding out who they are and becoming sort of these independent people. And that can be stressful because it can happen at different times. It can happen to your friends. And as students go through that process, it's not always easy. So this slide, high school can be hard. It can be. But there's places you can go for help. So here's some, I think, the primary places that students should reach out to. And you too as parents, you can do that too. But the teacher should be someone that the student speaks to. The advisor is that person that they see nearly every day for 4 years. And so that person can really help them. That person starts, like Becca said, really it's a proxy family and they're a proxy parent. They are a go-to person for those kids. School counselors, you can make an appointment with a school counselor on your managed time or on that activity period, but the school counselor is also someone who can help. And then the academic centers and peer tutoring. So not people, but places. There are people there to help. The academic centers, there's 2 of them. There's a humanities classroom and a math science classroom, and kids can drop in there and get help from a teacher that is staffing those rooms, plus a second teacher who has a duty period there. So there's 2 staff members at all times to help students with any particular academic work. And also with academics peer tutoring, I think at any given time there's probably 50 plus pairs of peer tutoring going on. So there's kids who are good with the subject and they offer their services to help other students, and students can sign up for that program through school counseling. So there's programs and people out there that can help students during high school because it can be tough. It just can be. All right, I want you to stay informed. That's the list of places and people you can get information from. I do need you to read the school handbook. It's long, but everything's in there, everything you need to know. So we hit some highlights, but there's things you need to know about the high school. So I need you to read the school handbook. Even if you just scan the topics and then read the ones that you think, oh boy, I need to know more about that. So please read it. Secondly, the school website has a lot of good information. Each department essentially has their own subpages. There's a weekly email, BHS News, that I send out on Fridays, just like Mr. Joyce does. And so that is a place that you should pay attention to. I condense the need-to-know information there. And there's some fun stuff too, so please pay attention to that. And then there's teacher web pages, informational nights like this one. Social media, we have a Twitter, a Facebook, Instagram posts. Teacher emails, teachers will occasionally send things to parents. And so read those. They're important if they're sending them to you. And then attend the student parent teacher conferences that we have each year. There's a couple summer opportunities I want to remind you about. I think we mentioned these in the scheduling meeting. The first one is Base Camp. That's going to be August 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Takes place between 8:30 and 2:30. There's some pictures there of students that went on Base Camp. So Base Camp is just a mini orientation for students to get acclimated to the high school. Students go over their schedule and find their actual rooms, their locker. They meet folks that are in the building in the summertime, so they meet all the administrators, all the secretaries, and then there are 3 or 4 teachers that usually help with Base Camp. And then they do some fun stuff too. They take a hike, but it's a way to really get ready for high school if a student is nervous about it or just wants to sort of jump in right away and get to know some other kids and staff. And then lastly, the 2 enrichment courses that we told you about last time. There's an in-writing course and the in-writing hybrid course, and information about those are available on the summer school website. Now it's time for questions, and usually you would raise your hand and we would call on you, but we can't do that this time. So first, I want to say I'm excited to have your students in the high school. I hope they're all sitting here in the fall and I'm talking to them face to face. I'm looking forward to that. I'm sure they are too. And then questions, I'm going to give you our emails instead, and so I'd like you to email questions to any of us on the leadership team. Those are our email addresses. You can also find them on the website. And so if you have questions as a follow-up to anything we said tonight, just shoot us an email and we will get back to you. So thank you for watching. I appreciate it. And until next time, take care.